Alright, so the first example of lane swapping and map movement that we're going to look at is Weibo versus AL Game 2. The reason I chose this game is basically that they do both some creative lane swaps and some standard ones, and sort of like some aggressive ones and some sort of like reactive ones. And it's very interesting to see the different ways you can approach a game and different ways to identify win cons or priorities, for example. So the first thing we're going to look at is the bot lane, because this is something that isn't normal on the timer that we're using it. So usually what we see is you can tell already that there's an Ornn versus Renekton top. Ornn does better on weak side than Renekton, because Renekton needs resources more, so it makes sense for AL to lane swap this game. And also it is a bit more favorable for their bot lane as well. So what you would assume is that at around level 4 or something is where they would reset and lane swap. But what they're doing is they are hard trading level 2. And this is sort of like where you would maybe slow push and wait for your jungle. And then since Qiyana is moving top, maybe they could look for a dive or something, since Xayah has no summoners and is very low. However, they let them take control of wave, and level 2, Kai'Sa runs top. Now, a level 2 lane swap is not common at all, but they want to make sure that Renekton gets behind as soon as possible. But Weibo have decided that they can't keep this up. They need to, if they just keep these lane states without punishing this Ornn, they will just fall further behind, so they need to make a play. And they decide to just send it on Ornn. It is risky since Galio is coming and they don't see Zed, but they have enough information to know that they have time to do so. So here, Galio rotates bot, mid wave is lost, Zed can pick up a few of them, Ornn is dead. But as you can see, the gold top lane is still even, and it is favorable for Ornn. And Renekton, like the wave top, is horrible. It's pushing into red side, and he can't even get in XP range. It's almost the same level as the enemy ADC. Well, not a level down, but still. So it's a fantastic position for AL. So here they finally push it out, and they their bot lane runs bot, and the mismatch continues. Now here is where Weibo does something very smart, because they know that once again they're probably gonna send Kai'Sa and Alistar bot. Instead of just trying to get Xayah and Rakan bot to do the dance all over, they decide to break the game a bit. So you will see that right now, sorry, one sec, they're on grubs. What will happen is the wave will push in. Qiyana will move top after the grubs, and Annie will walk top as well. Now, this would mean that they have 4 people in one lane, meaning you have 2 open lanes, right? Renekton realizes that if he goes bot, he's going to be 2v1 and not farm, and potentially Zed will even dive him. So instead of standing there, he will move mid instead. So Renekton is now safe and can CS without any worry. Top lane will be punished, Ornn will die. So this is basically a 50-50. Both mid laners can take wave mid. Both top laners, well, they're trading basically. Ornn gets no CS, and then either Xayah or Annie doesn't get resources. So it's sort of like they trade on the map rather than just keep Renekton suffering. This allows Renekton to get back into the map, and they get as much pressure on sides as AL do. So you can see he's moving. Renekton is thinking about it, and here he pivots. He realizes that no, I don't want to get dove, I'm gonna move. They get 3 grubs. They get to catch mid wave. They get to push out top. And now they're 4v1, and Ornn just TP'd as well. So they're punishing him as soon as he's back to lane. He's trying to ult the wave. But there's like very little you can do 1v4. So Renekton even roams a bit just to stop Galio from potentially ulting. So they miss about 2 waves bot. They lose half a wave mid, and AL lose pressure top. And they only get 2 plates bot too, so a very well adapted rotation. Next example is going to be BLG versus IG group stage game 2. This one is a bit interesting because it is a bunch of reactive lane swaps that go either right or wrong, and a lot of adaptation. This is a very interesting start because if you look at this, BLG invade blue side, and instead of cross-mapping top, which you usually do when you're being invaded, Wei actually sits in enemy jungle and takes Shadow's camps, which Shadow will probably think that Vi is either on her red and then moving into his blue side, or is even in his blue side now. But apparently she just took his red side without any info. So she uses this tempo to try to get a gank bot and misplace, but it's still a huge winning play. Since that first play, Varus has no flash, and their bot lane is, or IG's bot lane is now stronger. Varus wants to escape, so he's going to reset and run top. Since Karma had a reset earlier, she's not going to reset. Instead, she uses her tempo to run mid, because she cannot stay bot. She's too early to go top, so she's going to try to at least cover mid for a bit, maybe punish Orianna. They go for the play, and Orianna dies. And now they commit to the 2v1 top versus Mordekaiser. Now, much as last game, Mordekaiser needs resources more than Sion, and Sion is very good on the weak side. But Mordekaiser is an exception, because sure, he wants resources, and he is not a full tank as Sion, but he does so very well on the weak side. So it's not a disaster for IG, and also making sure Sivir can pre-scale is something that they actually want. Now, here we have a split map, except it's not completely split, because we have 3 people. We have the bot lane of BLG top side, meaning they are weak siding bot. Fewer people usually means weak side. However, Shadow doesn't really respect that they are playing 3 people bot. So he relies on the mid prio to get the Raptors, but this is a bit greedy, going for his grubs in a 3v1. But they managed to get out. This is sort of like a fumble from IG, right? Because they have only 1 person bots now, but they're still getting 4-man, like the Shy is still in a 1v4. So it's either the Shy has to play safe, which is, yes, he probably should, but also Nico shouldn't hover mid here. Vi should probably maybe just run top and then path down instead, just to make sure. So the Shy dies, but the roam means that Orianna can get a push in. She uses the push in to run top, since no one can farm top yet. They go for a play. on the tempo. Orianna stays top to catch wave, Nico helps to push it out. Now, if you can also see that while this is happening, Mordekaiser or Sivir is laning 1v1. I assume they kind of like Sivir just getting free scaling. So Mordekaiser, since Orianna is moving top to make sure they don't lose any waves top, Mordekaiser goes mid to catch mid waves on the Galio push out. But here, Sivir has pushed out Sion. So what they do instead is Sivir rotates from bot to mid and Mordekaiser moves bot instead. This way Sivir can catch as many waves as possible and scale faster. So this is sort of like just an example of how teams will rotate like a full circle. Mid goes top, bot goes mid, top goes bot. They lost one wave top on this whole exchange, even though they died. This is something you will see a lot of pro players do, and that is when they're playing sides and they have push, on every crash or every time they've cleared the wave, they will leave lane and they will have to commit to rotations. So here you will see Sion walks upriver. Right now, where he is positioned, if there is no fight, he is at no risk of losing any CS. If there is a fight, he's ready to collapse. So right now, he's just checking, is there going to be a fight or not? He's ready for both plays. And here he sees them backing off. He sees IG backing off, so he goes back bot. But if there was a fight, he would be just sprinting. Here we have IG being miscommunicating lane swaps a bit. So here they're resetting both mid laners on a dead wave top. Orianna runs back because she's going to catch the next wave. She doesn't want to TP because no one's pushing it out. She's not going to miss anything. However, here's a bit of miscommunication. Sivir resets on a crash. And for some reason, Orianna here runs all the way from top to bot. She doesn't TP. She just runs. Now, they don't lose any minions from it, but it's an incredible waste of tempo. And I assume they figured out around here that Drake is coming up. We would rather be 4v4 with Orianna than with Mordekaiser. I think that's the call, because it can't be about TPs because Orianna has TP and Mordekaiser doesn't. So I think they want to take a 4v4, maybe force a TP out, or just, I don't know, to be honest. I think they feel stronger 4v4, so that's why they sent Orianna bot. Nothing else makes sense. So this is what doesn't make sense to me, right? Like we run bot with Orianna, but she can't get a push out at all. She's at risk. And then you can see Orianna has to take a very awkward route just because she has no pressure on the side. So I think they fumbled both when they moved and how they communicated it, but also the decision to send Orianna bot I don't really like. But here we can see the Shy being alone top. He has no tier 1 turret. This is not a real turret. They spot enemy team rotating 4 people top. You can see at first that they are moving, they're posturing in a way that they seem to be contesting or protecting the Shy. They're moving up in jungle. It looks like they're going to cover him on the gank. But they quickly realize that they're either going to be slow or they think they lose the fight. So instead, they sell him out really quickly. I think they're used to the Shy dying on sides by now, so they have this play practiced. But instead of trying or wasting time trying to save him, they just sprint mid. And they get a turret. And a flash on bin. They recognize that they're going to stay for tier 2, makes sense. So they're going to stay on bot side and rotate to bot turret. They take red buff, they take Krugs, they kill Bin. They don't get the turret, but they get more resources than what they should have had if they made a short play, which most teams would do. They would take mid turret, maybe the red buff, and then reset. But they decide that they can get more because they read that they probably will commit fully to the tier 2 top. After 20 minutes, approximately, in most games in LPL, what will happen is the ADC will lane 1v1 mid. And the jungle and support will run next to their top laners or mid laners on side lane constantly to help them push out or to find picks or invade after a push out, for example. So the ADCs will be living in mid lane, just AFK farming, and the mid laner top laners will split push while they have cover. So you can see Galio moving top, he has Karma with him, and Xin Zhao, or Sion has Xin Zhao. Here you will see the same thing, how they play side lanes. We have Azir pushing from Tess, and we have Leona covering. And we have Taliyah pushing on red side with Naafiri and Rell covering, while as Jhin and Corki are just farming mid. Yep, once again, here we are. Jhin versus Corki. Gnar, side lane, hovered by Leona. Leona still hovering. Taliyah on side gets hovered by Rell and Naafiri. The difference here is that Azir gets first move, because obviously Azir pushes faster than Bennington. So they feel okay just taking a fight, because Azir will be able to take over mid and then rotate. So even though it's a 1-for-1 here, they have control of mid wave because Azir gets to move first. And since Azir gets control of mid wave, red side needs to respond, leaving bot open, meaning Gnar can get a free push out, meaning they both get a good reset. And then they get first move on top wave because Taliyah had to catch bot wave late, which means they have top prio and mid prio now for Baron. So you can see how sort of like the momentum really keeps going, like managing one wave and being able to move first from on one play can just snowball, and you can keep that up if you do it very quickly and never miss a second. And here both teams give up top. There are 4 TPs up. Technically Azir and Taliyah could stay top. They both have TPs, but they keep their TPs and they just go 4-1. They are very willing to just sacrifice waves to be early on objectives and force a fight. And after Baron is up, it's the LPL 5-man trying to brute force control. They drop side lanes. Once again, we have TPs up on Renekton, on Azir, on Taliyah. No one gives a shit about bot lane. And I'm not saying that that is like the best way to do it. It's just the way LPL does it, generally. So it's a version, it's one type of macro call that obviously works since they are good teams. But it depends, like, are you a patient team? Can you play side lanes and not get dragged into a fight when you're 4v5? In that case, you can bleed them out slowly. But if you are like an explosive team and a good team fighting team, then maybe this style of macro fits you better.